Before we start, I want to say that only 1% of you are subscribed. Please subscribe because at 1,000 subscribers, I will post a special video for you.
The Dyson Arc, an orbital station that spanned the size of a small moon, shimmered under the binary star system it orbited. Inside its grand chamber, representatives from thousands of interstellar species gathered in a circular amphitheater. The room hummed with subdued conversation, a cacophony of alien voices blending into an unsettling background noise. At the center, a towering hologram displayed the image of a small blue and green planet. Earth. Envoy Calyx, present your findings, called Speaker Lauren, a crystalline being whose body refracted light like a living prism. The room fell silent as Envoy Calyx, a sleek insectoid delegate of the Threx Dominion, stepped forward. His multifaceted eyes glinted as he activated his display. A new hologram shimmered into view, depicting Earth's swirling storms, jagged mountain ranges, and teeming oceans. Representatives of the Galactic Concordia, Calyx began, his voice a harsh, clicking sound. Our analysis of the planet Earth has concluded. It is a Class 13 Deathworld, a designation reserved for planets where the environment is so hostile that survival, let alone the development of intelligent life, is deemed nearly impossible. The announcement was met with gasps and murmurs. Few planets were given such a classification. Even fewer had produced intelligent species. Calyx's tone grew darker. I must, however, amend this classification. Recent data suggests that Earth's unique characteristics might push it beyond even Class 13, into the rarer and more dangerous realm of Class 14. The room erupted into chaos. Delegates from peaceful worlds like the Class 2 aquatic paradise of Lamera recoiled, while militaristic species like the reptilian Draskin leaned forward with predatory interest. Minister Yalan, a towering figure from the pacifist XYRR coalition, raised a tendril-like hand. Envoy Calyx, such claims must be substantiated. What makes Earth more dangerous than the hundreds of other death worlds catalogued? Calyx's eyes shimmered as he gestured to the hologram. Observe. Earth's environment is an anomaly. Its tectonic activity generates constant natural disasters, earthquakes, tsunamis, volcanic eruptions. Its atmosphere is volatile, producing superstorms, hurricanes, and tornadoes at a frequency unheard of. Temperatures fluctuate wildly, and its surface is home to apex predators, many of which can kill with ease. And yet, he paused, letting the tension build. Despite this chaos, Earth has produced an intelligent species. A species that has not only survived but thrived in conditions that would obliterate most of us. Yalan waved a tendril dismissively. Even if these humans have survived their death world, that does not make them exceptional. Primitive cunning, perhaps. But surely they are no threat to the Concordia. Calyx's multifaceted eyes locked onto Yalan. You misunderstand, Minister. Humans do not merely survive. They adapt. They innovate. They turn adversity into strength. A new hologram appeared, showing Earth's history in fragments. Humans building cities after devastating floods, engineering technology to withstand hurricanes, and evolving from prey to apex predators. Then came images of human warfare, conflicts that razed landscapes and spanned continents. These creatures evolved on a battlefield, Calyx continued. Their wars have honed them into strategists and survivors. Their environment has forced them to innovate at a pace no other species can match. And most unsettling of all, the hologram zoomed in on an image of Earth cities at night, lights twinkling like stars. They are no longer bound by their planet. They are reaching out, exploring, expanding. And if Earth is a Class 14 death world, what do you think that makes them? The chamber was silent. For the first time, the delegates considered the implications. Speaker Lauren broke the silence. If they are so dangerous, why have they not yet posed a threat to the Concordia? Calyx clicked his mandibles thoughtfully. Because, Speaker, they have been too busy surviving their own planet to look outward. But make no mistake, they will. And when they do, the galaxy must be prepared. Prepared for what? Asked Yalan, his tone skeptical. Calyx's voice lowered. For a species forged by fire. For beings who see our greatest trials as mere inconveniences. For survivors who call a death world their home. The delegates exchanged uneasy glances. Calyx's words lingered in the air, heavy with foreboding. Unbeknownst to the Council, a Terran fleet was already preparing to make its presence known, and Captain Adrian Kane was leading the way. In the Nevada desert, the wreckage of alien ships littered the sands. Smoke rose in thick plumes, and the acrid smell of burnt metal and scorched earth filled the air. The sky, once clear, was now overcast with an incoming storm, the dark clouds reflecting Earth's unpredictable temperament. Captain Adrian Kane stepped out of his armored transport, his boots crunching against the debris-strewn ground. He surveyed the aftermath of the battle, charred husks of Lorthai Raiders' ships, alien bodies sprawled in the sand, and human soldiers securing the area. Another failed invasion, Kane muttered, shielding his eyes from the harsh wind as the storm began to roll in. They never learn. A voice crackled through his comms. Lieutenant Alvarez, his second-in-command, approached, her armor scratched but intact. Captain, cleanup teams are reporting minimal casualties on our side. The Lorthai didn't stand a chance. Of course they didn't, Kane replied, his tone dry. They think Earth is weak because we're stuck on this rock, fighting our own disasters. They forget that surviving here has made us resilient. Alvarez smirked, though her expression darkened as she looked at the alien wreckage. Still, it's not going to stop them from trying. Do you think the Concordia had anything to do with this? Kane frowned. The Galactic Concordia, a coalition of advanced alien civilizations, had a history of turning a blind eye to small conflicts, especially when they involved Earth. Officially, humanity wasn't yet part of the Concordia. Unofficially, they were becoming impossible to ignore. Maybe, Kane said. Or maybe the Lorthai thought they'd score an easy win. Either way, we've sent a message. As the storm intensified, Kane made his way to the mobile command post. The hum of activity inside was almost comforting. Technicians at consoles, soldiers reporting in, and the occasional burst of static from long-range communications. Kane leaned over a table displaying a holographic map of Earth, dotted with markers showing recent alien incursions. It was a grim reminder of how often humanity had to defend itself. Unlike other species, humans didn't have allies in the stars. They didn't have the luxury of interstellar coalitions or advanced treaties. All they had was Earth, and themselves. Captain, Alvarez called, stepping into the command tent. We intercepted a transmission. It's from the Concordia. Kane raised an eyebrow. The Concordia? They don't usually talk to us directly. Alvarez handed him a tablet. It's cryptic, but it mentions a classification. Something about Earth being evaluated as a Class 14 Deathworld. Kane's lips curled into a humorless smile as he read the message. A Deathworld, huh? Took them long enough to figure that out. Alvarez folded her arms. They see it as a warning. But the way I see it, it's a badge of honor. Everything about this planet was designed to kill us, and here we are, still standing. Kane nodded. The storms, the predators, the diseases, all of it forged us into what we are. They don't understand that Earth didn't weaken us. It made us stronger. He set the tablet down and looked out at the storm raging beyond the tent. And now, they're starting to notice. Far above, in the orbiting Concordia station, the Council was still deliberating Earth's classification. Calix's warning had cast a shadow over the proceedings, but some delegates remained skeptical. Envoy Zeltra, a serpentine being from the aquatic paradise of Villiax, was one of them. If humans are as resilient as you claim, why have they not expanded aggressively? Surely a species as dangerous as you describe would be seeking conquest. Calix's mandibles clicked in frustration. Humans do not seek conquest. Not yet. They are still bound to their death world, their resources focused on surviving its challenges. But once they rise above that... He gestured toward a holographic image of Earth. Once they truly reach the stars, we will face something the galaxy has never seen before, a species that has evolved to thrive in conditions we deem uninhabitable. A species that views adversity as opportunity. Fear-mongering, Zeltra hissed. They are primitives, bound to a chaotic world. What could they possibly do against the might of the Concordia? Calix fixed his multifaceted eyes on her. You mistake their chaos for weakness. They do not break under pressure, they adapt. They do not yield to stronger forces, they overcome. They are not primitives. They are survivors. Back on Earth, Kane stood outside the command tent, the storm raging around him. He stared at the dark horizon, where lightning danced like a living thing. The wind whipped at his uniform, but he didn't flinch. This was home, a chaotic, dangerous, unpredictable home. And it was in this crucible that humanity had been forged. As the first raindrops fell, Alvarez joined him. What now, Captain? Kane smiled faintly, his gaze never leaving the horizon. We keep surviving. And when the time comes, when they finally realize what Earth is, we show them exactly what that means. The Galactic Concordia chamber was abuzz with unease. Envoy Calix's grim warning about Earth had rippled through the Council like a seismic shock, but not everyone was convinced of the threat. Delegates from peaceful and militaristic species alike debated the validity of Calix's claims, their voices rising in a chaotic din. Minister Yalin of the XYRR coalition, a towering figure draped in shimmering robes, stood to address the assembly. His resonant voice echoed across the chamber. This fear of humanity is misplaced, Yalin declared. Yes, Earth is a death world, but its inhabitants are constrained by their environment. They have not sought to expand aggressively. They have no alliances, no interstellar presence beyond a few exploratory fleets. Why should we concern ourselves with them? A murmur of agreement rippled through the crowd. Calix's multifaceted eyes glinted as he stepped forward to counter. You misunderstand the nature of humans. Their lack of aggressive expansion is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of focus. They have spent millennia surviving the trials of their planet. Their ingenuity, their resilience, these are traits honed in a crucible of constant adversity. And now they are looking outward. Calix gestured to a holographic display, which shifted to show the recent skirmishes between humans and the Lorthai raiders. Images of Terran soldiers, battered but victorious, flashed on the screen. Alien ships lay in ruins, their pilots captured or killed. This is what happens when a death world species is provoked. The Lorthai believed Earth would be an easy target. They underestimated the humans' capacity to adapt, to fight back. And they paid the price. The images made even the most skeptical delegates uneasy. But Yalin scoffed, waving a tendril dismissively. These are isolated incidents, he said. The Lorthai are opportunists, not a credible measure of human strength. Why should we believe they pose any threat to the Concordia? Calix's voice dropped, his tone cold and deliberate. Because they haven't needed to pose a threat. They've been too busy surviving their own world. But make no mistake, when they are ready, when they finally turn their gaze outward, the galaxy will not be prepared for them. Far from the Concordia, aboard the TSV Endeavour, Captain Adrian Kane prepared for a meeting that could change humanity's standing in the galaxy. The Endeavour, a sleek warship outfitted with cutting-edge Terran technology, was the pride of Earth's fledgling interstellar fleet. Status report, Kane called as he entered the bridge. Approaching Concordia space, said Lieutenant Alvarez, seated at the tactical console. We've sent our request for diplomatic entry, but no response yet. Kane leaned against the command console, his eyes narrowing. They'll respond. They don't want us here, but they know better than to ignore us. Alvarez smirked. Think they're ready for a face-to-face with Deathworlders? Kane chuckled. Not even close. But that's why we're here. It's time they stopped underestimating us. In the Concordia chamber, alarms blared, cutting through the delegates' heated debate. A holographic screen appeared in the center of the room, displaying an incoming Terran fleet. At its forefront was the TSV Endeavour, its sleek form reflecting the light of the nearby binary star. The Concordia's AI announced, unscheduled arrival at the perimeter. Species, human. Requesting diplomatic entry. Panic erupted among the delegates. They dare come here unannounced, hissed Envoy Zeltra, her serpentine body coiled in agitation. Calix remained calm, his mandibles twitching in thought. Perhaps they have grown tired of being overlooked. Minutes later, the chamber doors opened, and Captain Adrian Kane entered, flanked by his crew. The human's presence was commanding, their Terran uniforms pristine and their expressions resolute. The chamber fell silent as every alien eye turned to them. Kane stopped at the center of the room, his gaze sweeping across the delegates. Representatives of the Galactic Concordia, he began, his voice steady and firm. I am Captain Adrian Kane of Earth. We've come to address your recent discussions about our planet. Calix observed him carefully, intrigued by the human's composed demeanor. And what would you say, Captain Kane, about Earth being classified as a death world? Kane smirked faintly. I'd say you're not wrong. Earth is a death world. Maybe even a Class 14. But what you don't understand is that our planet isn't a weakness, it's our strength. The delegates exchanged uneasy glances. We've spent millennia surviving earthquakes, hurricanes, predators, diseases, Kane continued. While you've been building your civilizations in the safety of paradise worlds, we've been tempered by adversity. Earth didn't break us. It made us unbreakable. His words hung heavy in the air, and for the first time, the council seemed to grasp the implications of what Earth represented. Kane's gaze turned sharp as he addressed the entire chamber. The Lorthai thought they could exploit us. They learned the hard way. If anyone else has similar ideas, let this be your only warning. Humanity doesn't seek war, but we will not hesitate to defend ourselves. And we will survive. That's what we do. Calix's multifaceted eyes gleamed with satisfaction. This was the message he had been waiting for the humans to deliver themselves. As Kane turned to leave, he glanced over his shoulder, a smirk tugging at his lips. And for the record, Earth's not just a death world. It's our world. And there's nothing dead about it. The chamber remained silent as the humans departed, leaving the council to grapple with the undeniable truth. Earth wasn't merely a dangerous world. It was a crucible that had forged a species like no other. The TSV Endeavour glided through Concordia's sprawling orbital station, its hull reflecting the light of the binary stars in perfect defiance of the alien architecture surrounding it. Inside the ship, Captain Adrian Kane prepared for the meeting that could cement Earth's place, or seal its fate, in the galactic order. Status update, Kane ordered as he adjusted his uniform. The sleek black fabric, accented with Earth's crest, was designed to project both power and diplomacy. Lieutenant Alvarez glanced at her console. The Concordia has cleared us for a formal audience. The council chamber awaits. Any response to the message we delivered? Alvarez smirked. If silence speaks volumes, I'd say they're listening loud and clear. Kane nodded, his expression serious. Good. Let's make sure they never forget. The Concordia chamber buzzed with unease as the human delegation entered. Kane led the way, flanked by Alvarez and a small group of Earth's finest diplomats and soldiers. The humans moved with purpose, their boots striking the floor in unison, echoing through the vast hall. The alien delegates stared, their expressions a mixture of curiosity, fear, and skepticism. For many of them, this was their first time seeing humans in the flesh. Kane stopped at the center of the room, his gaze sweeping across the gathered species. He let the silence linger, knowing it would amplify the weight of his words. Representatives of the Galactic Concordia, he began, his voice calm but commanding. I am Captain Adrian Kane of Earth. We stand before you not as supplicants, but as equals. Our planet may be new to your council, but make no mistake, humanity has earned its place here. The delegates murmured, their unease palpable. Minister Yalin, ever the skeptic, rose to speak. Captain Kane, your arrival is unorthodox. Your species has not undergone the formal vetting required for Concordia membership. What justification do you offer for this intrusion? Kane's smirk was faint but deliberate. Intrusion? Minister Yalin, if we'd come to intrude, you'd know it. We're here to ensure our voice is heard. The room fell silent again. Kane continued. We're aware of the classification you've given Earth, a death world, perhaps even Class 14. And you're right to be concerned. Our planet is harsh, unpredictable, and unforgiving. But it is also our greatest teacher. It has shaped us into what we are, survivors. He stepped forward, his voice rising slightly. You look at Earth and see chaos. We look at it and see resilience. You see danger. We see opportunity. You fear what we've endured, because you can't imagine surviving it yourselves. Envoy Zeltra, her serpentine form coiled tightly, spoke with a hiss. If humans are as resilient as you claim, why have you remained confined to your system? Why have you not expanded aggressively, as others in your position might? Kane turned his piercing gaze to her. Because we've been busy ensuring our survival. While others enjoyed the safety of paradise worlds, we fought to live another day. But now we're looking outward, not for conquest, but for understanding. For opportunity. He paused, letting his words settle. However, let me be clear. If Earth is threatened, if humanity is challenged, we will defend ourselves with everything we have. And as history has shown, that's more than most species can handle. The chamber erupted into murmurs, the delegates visibly shaken by the humans' confidence. Envoy Calix stepped forward, his mandibles clicking in approval. Captain Kane, your words echo the truth I have long tried to convey to this council. Humanity is not to be underestimated. You are the product of a world that others would deem uninhabitable. You do not seek conflict, but but you are prepared for it. That, perhaps, is what makes you most dangerous. Kane inclined his head slightly in acknowledgement. Dangerous? Only to those who provoke us. Calix turned to the Council. It is time we recognize humanity not as an anomaly, but as a force in this galaxy. To ignore them would be folly. To antagonize them would be disaster. The room fell silent, the weight of Calix's words heavy in the air. Speaker Lauren, the crystalline leader of the Council, rose from their seat. Their voice was measured and resonant. Captain Kane, the Galactic Concordia does not take lightly the inclusion of new species. Your arrival here has caused much debate, and your message, though direct, has made an impact. Kane nodded, but Lauren wasn't finished. However, your planet's classification as a Deathworld does raise concerns. Some here fear what your resilience and adaptability might mean for the balance of this council. Balance. Kane said, his tone sharpening. The galaxy isn't balanced. It's a game of power and survival, and Earth has always understood that better than most. We're not here to disrupt your council. We're here to ensure that humanity's voice is part of it. Lauren studied him for a moment, then inclined their head. Very well. The council will deliberate. You will have your answer soon. As the humans exited the chamber, Alvarez turned to Kane, her voice low. Think they got the message? Kane smirked, his steps steady. Oh, they got it. Whether they like it or not, they're going to have to deal with us now. Back in the council chamber, the delegates were left to grapple with the truth. Humanity wasn't just another species clawing its way into the galaxy. It was a force shaped by a planet that had prepared it for anything. And for the first time, the Concordia realized that the galaxy might never be the same again.